What if everything you've been taught about mental illness is a lie? If you've been diagnosed with a mental illness, you've been told you have a lifetime chemical imbalance in your brain, and that's the reason why you're suffering. But what if this is entirely wrong? What if there's a completely different reason for your mental?
Okay, so this is Matt Bazuki. I first heard about him from his mother. Uh, she was talking at a metabolic psychiatry or a metabolic disorder. I don't know what they were calling it. I seen it on YouTube. I think I seen it on Metabolic Mind. And so all the big names were there. The guy from Metabolic Mind, Dr. Chris Palmer, Dr. Georgia Eid, the woman from Stanford, all those guys were there, and they were talking about what if metabolic dysfunction was the reason why people have mental illness as opposed to chemical imbalance, and other things that we say is the reason for mental health disorders. And his mother gave a talk where she talked about her son, who I think it was around when he went to college, started having manic episodes, and it turns out that he's bipolar. And she talked about how he went on the ketogenic diet and what happened when he was in nutritional ketosis and what happened to his symptoms and his manic episodes and all of this. And I've just discovered that Matt has now got his own channel where he's trying to get the word out. So I think he's about 4 years into it, of being on keto diet and just the transformation. Like will he will say that he healed his bipolar disorder with it. So this is the thing that I'm trying to get at, that I'm trying to get into now, is this heal your metabolism and everything else will follow, this kind of metabolic psychiatry angle. And this video is short, but he gives a very detailed, easy to understand description of what it's all about. So I'm going to let him tell you.
Mental illness. We are uncovering an entirely new paradigm for mental illness, namely that mental illness could be the result of metabolic dysfunction. Doctors all over the world are using this framework to put their patients' symptoms into remission in a new movement called metabolic psychiatry. If you struggle,
I wish that was more true than what it is at the moment, because I don't think enough doctors are doing it. I don't think they're giving it the time that it deserves. I don't think they're giving it the credit that it deserves, but hopefully it is spreading this much.
with depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety, anything like that, you are not going to want to miss this. This theory could entirely upend the model for mental illness that we've been operating under for decades. In this video, I'll share a little bit more about what metabolic psychiatry is and how treating your mental health could put your mental illness into complete remission. And definitely stick around until the end of the video, because I'll be sharing my one lifestyle hack that allowed me to literally put my bipolar disorder into complete remission and stop all my symptoms, so you are not going to want to.
Like, that's a claim. Like, that's a crazy claim. He put his bipolar into remission. Like, I mean, it's amazing. Like, this is what the carnivore people are screaming about. This is what, the psychiatrists who believe in the power of being in ketosis and healing your mitochondria are screaming about. And we really need to share these videos and get this word out.
That. By the way, you can start doing this today for free. My name's Matt. I healed my bipolar disorder using metabolic therapies, and I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible learn how to use these therapies and integrate them into their lives. So the first question I want to answer is, what is metabolism anyway? Metabolism is about how your body creates energy for itself. It encompasses all the processes our bodies use to maintain themselves, so things like breathing in oxygen, repairing tissue, and removing waste. But most importantly, and this is what I want you all to really understand, is metabolism is about how our bodies create and use energy from the food we eat. Keep that in mind, because I'm going to talk about food a little bit later. So when metabolism isn't functioning properly, people can develop all kinds of illnesses, from metabolic syndrome to cancer to Alzheimer's to diabetes and so many more. But why does this matter? Well, the metabolic framework posits that the reason we develop mental illnesses is because our bodies are unable to properly turn the food we eat into fuel for the brain. And when our brain isn't getting the right fuel, it starts to malfunction, of course. And this is why we develop mental illnesses like depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, etc. But how does this actually happen? What is the mechanism in our bodies that prevents us from turning the food we eat into fuel and providing it to the brain as well as we can? And this is where I want to introduce you all to a little hormone called insulin. Insulin is a hormone that tells your cells to take up glucose as energy. Glucose is the energy found in carbohydrates. So things like pasta, rice, pizza, ice cream, all of that has glucose. And when you eat that stuff, insulin tells your body to take all that energy, all those carbohydrates, and move it into your cells so that you can turn it into fuel. But sometimes insulin stops working, and your body has been working so long and so hard using insulin to turn this food into fuel that the insulin isn't as effective anymore. So this is what we mean when we say your cells have become insulin resistant. That's all it means. Your cells can't take the food, move it into the cells to turn it into fuel because the insulin literally doesn't work anymore. And that's why we say insulin resistant. So when we become insulin resistant, it means that all this stuff in our body, our muscles, our brain isn't getting the fuel that it needs to function properly. So do you see why this is so important? All of these psychiatric symptoms we develop are just a result of this poor metabolic health and our inability to properly.
And I would add like inflammation. So if you are insulin resistant and your metabolism's not working properly, it all creates inflammation in the brain, and it stops the neurons from being able to respond correctly as well. And that's as well as cutting out your carbs or significantly reducing your carbs. You want to eat a lot of fat because the brain needs fat. If you think about it, breast milk is mostly fat. And that's what babies have at their most pivotal growing moment. Like we all see what a newborn baby, how like in 3 months and 6 months, how much it grows. And, it's eating fat, or drinking fat, I should say.
Fuel our brains with good energy. So you might be wondering, like, how do we solve this problem? Don't we need to use glucose? Don't we need to take in carbs? Don't we need to use that for fuel? So how do we fix like this pathway that is not working and use our energy properly? And this is where I'm going to let you all in on a little secret, which is that humans are actually like hybrid cars. And let me explain. There are two different sources of energy we can use. One of them is the carbs. That's the glucose. That's the energy that's caused all these problems, that's given us insulin sensitivity, that's not allowed us to fuel our brains properly. But there is a diet that could allow us to burn energy from an entirely different source and in an entirely different way. This is like switching from gas to electric in a hybrid car. We could solve the problem of insulin sensitivity and give our brains the good energy they need to function properly. And that diet is a ketogenic diet. A ketogenic diet is a diet that allows you to burn an entirely different source of energy, ketones. It's a diet high in fats, moderate in protein, and low in carbs. So lots of things like avocado, butter, meats, salmon, fish, nuts, heavy cream. That's all amazing. That's all super, super high fat, good keto food. So by starving your cells of carbohydrates, your body will start to burn fat as fuel by giving.
Okay, just one caveat here. Yeah, nuts, heavy cream, all of those things, they're all fine unless you happen to be somebody who doesn't tolerate those foods very well. And that's kind of how people end up going from keto to carnivore, because even there, there is a lot of different keto foods you can eat, but some of them can be quite irritating to people. I know I certainly feel a lot better since I stopped eating all the nuts and seeds and things like that, but each to their own.
Giving your brain the fuel it needs using a ketogenic diet, you could potentially drastically improve your mental health symptoms and possibly even put your mental illness into complete remission. Yeah, guys, when I went on a ketogenic diet in 2021, I completely stopped having manic episodes. I was able to heal my bipolar disorder. I was able to start to work, think clearly, not have mood swings, have good relationships. My life became so much better, and I've been on a keto diet for 4.5 years now, and things are just amazing. And I've also been able to.
That's so crazy. Like, that's so crazy. Like, if you're diagnosed with bipolar, and I mean, I'm bad enough, but thank God I've never been diagnosed with, like, I don't have something like bipolar or schizophrenia, because the way they sell it to you, it's like, this is you for life, sweetheart, and you ain't never going to be able to function properly, and you're going to be on extremely heavy doses of medication that have serious side effects just to get you through the day. And it's such a horrible thing to be diagnosed with. And imagine like that he's put all of his symptoms into remission. It's just crazy.
Come way, way down on my medication, by the way, and still be like a totally functional person. So if you're struggling with a mental illness,
and that's got to be a huge bonus because the side effects of those medications are crazy. So any sort of reduction in them must just really help as well.
please, please, this is definitely something I would recommend, a ketogenic diet. Join the movement of people who are taking control of their metabolic health and putting their mental illnesses into remission, or at least radically improving their symptoms. And remember, this is just one of many lifestyle interventions that can heal our metabolic health from not just diet, but exercise, sleep hygiene, stress reduction, drugs, alcohol, and nicotine abstinence, and so many more that I talk about on this channel. So if you're suffering mental health symptoms, a mental illness, and you don't know what to do, and you haven't tried a ketogenic diet, I'm begging you, please try this. Track your ketones every day, eat lots of fat, eat low carb, and tell me how you feel. You might feel radically different. So that's it, everyone. Please drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe. We need to get this message out to as many people as possible because people are suffering. People need to understand that there are these
Yes, people are suffering. We do need to, so like, subscribe, comment, all the same for me, because I'm just trying to get these people's voices out as well. These are people who really inspired me. And actually, I'm making this video today because I'm officially 2 weeks into my, diet, keto. Well, I mean, I'm carnivore, ketovore. Like I do have very low carb. It's a meat-based diet that I'm on. But I'm 2 weeks in, and I haven't got to that stage where I'm fully fat adapted, and so I got my energy boost. I know that's coming, but I did not feel like going for my morning jog this morning. I didn't feel like doing it, and I actually thought of this guy because I watched another video of him of it. Because metabolic health is not just about diet. Like he says, it's about sleep. It's about avoiding things as well, like not just carbs, but alcohol, cigarettes, all these things, and exercise. And I thought about this guy, and I thought, oh, just put your gear on and go out there even for 10 minutes and run. So he actually got me out running this morning. So that's great. This is why I'm posting these videos from these different people who talk about stuff. They do help me to keep going. They do help me to keep looking into things and keep researching, and share his story, because this guy knows what he's talking about. I mean, he's literally the lived embodiment of what those doctors were trying to tell us about years ago. They're like, his mother was out trying to say, like, this is something, like, this has changed my son's life. You've got to take notice of it. So it's really cool that he's got his own channel now and he's doing this himself.
metabolic treatments that can do incredible things for mental health, that can work hand in hand with medication and therapy and all the different tools that y'all are using. So please share this with a friend. Let's get the message out, and tell me what you want me to make in future videos. Thank you so much for watching. That's all I got. Take care.
And that's really crazy as well, because I like that, like, he still takes some medications and he talks about therapy, and it's not like the extreme. And sometimes you see with the carnivore videos where they're like, I'm off all my medications and I feel great, and I got fully symptom free after 3 weeks on carnivore. And you're kind of like, yeah, okay, like that didn't happen for me. So like you start to kind of judging like time, and you get caught up on ketone levels and all these kind of things. So he's not saying that ketogenic diet made him get off all his medications. Like, he's talking about how this can just really add to your life, and it's a lifestyle thing. So yeah, go check out this guy. Maybe you can find the video with his mom talking about it, and it like his mother's talk when she was saying about it. I was kind of thinking, like, that can't be true. Like, it can't be true. And then I started, it was people like his mother who made me like really start looking into this, and then decide that I was going to do this radical change to my diet. And when I did the radical change to my diet, the exercise came with it, because once you start having more energy and you're less brain fog, you don't need as much motivation to force yourself to exercise. Like, you want to. you want to move your body, you know, you want to be outside, you want to be in the sunlight. All of these things kind of started happening after I stopped eating the crap and went carnivore and things like that. So yeah, so check out this guy's channel, give him a like, give him a follow, because he's got a lot to share, and there's people suffering out there who really need to hear it. Anyway, if you could also like, subscribe, or comment on this as well, it would be really useful to help get the word out. Thanks, guys.